Stop scrolling. Imagine discovering a code that could lead to a fortune worth tens of millions of dollars. Not cryptocurrency. Not a lottery ticket. Gold, silver, jewels, and according to one of America's most enduring treasure legends, all of it could still be buried somewhere beneath the soil of Virginia. But there's a problem. The location is hidden inside a series of mysterious numbers. And for almost 140 years, codebreakers, historians, treasure hunters, and ordinary people have been trying to solve them. One cipher has been cracked. 2 remain. And if the story is real, the treasure may still be waiting. This is the mystery of the Beale Ciphers. The story begins in the early 1800s with a mysterious man named Thomas Jefferson Beale. According to an 1885 pamphlet, Beale and a group of men supposedly discovered an enormous amount of gold and silver somewhere in the American Southwest. The group allegedly spent years gathering their fortune. But there was one problem. They couldn't safely keep such a massive amount of treasure where they found it. So they supposedly transported it hundreds of miles east. Eventually, the treasure was brought to Virginia. And there, according to the story, it was buried in a secret underground vault in Bedford County. The alleged treasure consisted of thousands of pounds of precious metals, along with jewels. Its modern estimated value has been placed at more than $60 million. But Beale supposedly had no intention of simply writing down the location. Instead, he created a code. Actually, 3 of them. And that's where the mystery becomes truly bizarre. The story says Beale eventually entrusted a locked box to a Virginia innkeeper named Robert Morris. Inside were papers that supposedly contained information about the treasure. But Beale gave Morris strict instructions. Don't open the box immediately. If Beale didn't return after a certain period of time, Morris could eventually open it. Years passed. Beale never returned. And eventually, the box was opened. Inside were letters and 3 strange documents filled almost entirely with numbers. No sentences. No obvious map. Just hundreds of numbers. Numbers like 71, 194, 38, 1701, 89, 76. To an ordinary person, they looked meaningless. But according to the story, each number represented a word. And each word could reveal part of the hidden message. The question was, what book was being used as the key? The 3 documents became known as Beale Cipher number 1, number 2, and number 3. Each supposedly had a different purpose. Cipher number 1 was said to reveal where the treasure was buried. Cipher number 2 was supposed to reveal what the treasure contained. And cipher number 3 was supposedly designed to reveal the names of the people entitled to the treasure. Think about what that means. If you could solve all 3, you wouldn't just have a treasure map. You would have the location, the contents, and the names of the people connected to the fortune. But there was a problem. Nobody knew the key. Until someone noticed something extraordinary. The numbers in one cipher appeared to correspond to the words in one of the most famous documents in American history, the Declaration of Independence. And suddenly, one of the 3 impossible codes wasn't impossible anymore. The method was surprisingly simple. Take the Declaration of Independence. Number its words sequentially. Then take the numbers from the Beale cipher. Each number points to a particular word. Take the first letter of that word. Then move to the next number. And the next. And the next. What emerges is a message. The second Beale cipher, commonly called B2, was successfully deciphered using a version of the Declaration of Independence as its key. And what it revealed was incredible. The cipher supposedly described the contents of the treasure: gold, silver, jewels, and enormous quantities of precious metal. But there was something even more important. The cipher also gave a clue about where the treasure was supposedly buried. It said the vault was located approximately 4 miles from Beaufort's, referring to a location in Virginia. Suddenly, the treasure hunt had a target. But there was still a massive problem. B2 tells us what is supposedly buried there. It does not provide the complete location. That information is believed to be hidden in cipher number 1. And cipher number 1 remains unsolved. This is where the story gets frustrating. Imagine having proof that one cipher works, but not being able to crack the other 2. Cipher number 1 contains a huge sequence of numbers. Thousands of potential clues. But nobody has been able to convincingly transform them into a reliable treasure map. And then there's cipher number 3. According to the story, this one contains the names of the people who supposedly owned the treasure. Yet it remains undeciphered as well. So we are left with a bizarre situation. We know how the system can work. We have one successfully decoded cipher. We have an alleged description of an enormous treasure. We even have a general clue pointing toward Bedford County, Virginia. But the precise location remains hidden. And that's exactly what has kept people searching for generations. For decades, people have searched across Virginia looking for signs of the legendary vault. Some searched with maps. Others used historical records. Some relied on mathematics. Others trusted intuition. And some simply started digging. The Beale legend became one of America's most famous treasure hunts. But there was a problem with that too. If you don't know whether the treasure actually exists, you can spend a lifetime looking for something that was never there. And that's where the story takes an even darker turn. Because there are serious reasons to question whether Thomas Jefferson Beale ever existed at all. The entire Beale story comes from an 1885 pamphlet titled The Beale Papers. The pamphlet claimed to tell the story of the mysterious treasure and the coded messages. But historians have never been able to establish beyond doubt that Beale was a real person, or that the treasure was ever buried. And there's another major problem. The pamphlet itself appeared decades after the event supposedly took place. Some researchers have suggested that the entire story could have been created as an elaborate hoax. One theory points toward the pamphlet's publisher, James B. Ward, as a possible creator of the legend. If that's true, then the greatest treasure hunt in American history could have been built around a story designed to make people search for something that never existed. But there's an uncomfortable question. Why does cipher number 2 work? This is the part that keeps the mystery alive. B2 can be decoded using the Declaration of Independence as a book cipher. And it produces a coherent message about the alleged treasure. That doesn't prove the treasure exists. It doesn't prove Thomas Beale existed. And it certainly doesn't prove that the other 2 ciphers contain genuine information. But it does create a fascinating puzzle. Was B2 deliberately constructed to produce that message? Was the entire thing an elaborate 19th century hoax? Or did someone really bury a fortune in Virginia and create a series of codes to protect it? And if it was fake, why create 3 ciphers? Why leave behind such a complicated trail? And most importantly, why has nobody definitively solved the other 2? Today, the Beale ciphers still attract cryptographers, historians, treasure hunters, and puzzle enthusiasts. And technology has changed the game. Modern computers can analyze patterns in enormous strings of numbers far faster than a 19th century codebreaker ever could. Researchers can compare historical documents. They can analyze language. They can search old maps. They can test different cipher systems. But despite all of this, the alleged vault has never been conclusively located. And that leaves us with one of the most frustrating possibilities in treasure hunting. The answer could be hidden in plain sight. Maybe cipher number 1 really does contain the location. Maybe the key isn't the Declaration of Independence at all. Maybe the numbers have been interpreted incorrectly for more than a century. Or maybe there is no treasure. And that's what makes the Beale ciphers so fascinating. Because this isn't simply a story about buried gold. It's a story about belief. One solved cipher is enough to make people wonder whether the other 2 contain secrets waiting to be uncovered. But one unsolved cipher is enough to keep the legend alive forever. Somewhere in those numbers could be the answer. A location, a name, a map, or absolutely nothing. The alleged fortune is still unverified. The vault has never been found. And the 2 most important ciphers remain unsolved. So after nearly a century and a half, the question remains. Did Thomas Beale really bury a fortune in Virginia? Or did someone bury something even more valuable? A mystery designed to last forever? What do you think? Real treasure, or the greatest treasure hoax in American history? Let me know in the comments. And if you want more mysteries that sound impossible but actually happened, follow AfterPlott, because sometimes, the biggest mystery isn't finding the answer. It's figuring out whether there was ever an answer to find.